Let's not kid ourselves. There's been a war against public transit for the past century. Ads like this that have stigmatized our public infrastructure for the profit and gain of vehicle manufacturers. So, in 1804, there were 1 billion people. 1927, 2, 1963, 1974, 4, 1987, 5, 1996, 2011, 7 billion people, and this year, about, I think, 7.6 billion people, okay? We know that more and more people are moving into urban environments. We know that public transportation plays a vital role in moving people in smart and livable 21st century cities. Kingston, his ridership has increased by more than 73% since 2012. Now, there's a lot of things Kingston Transit's doing right. An aggressive master plan, council support, park and rides, TransPass programs for employers, express bus routes that are amazing, and even 5-minute service. Okay, all this stuff is fantastic. The reality is, though, I'm not here to speak about any of that. In fact, I don't work for Kingston Transit, and I don't work for the City of Kingston. I work for Limestone District School Board, and my name's Dan Hendry. And I'm here to share with you the story of our success, of how we're changing the culture of a transit system. And this is by leveraging city and school partnerships, and we're training future riders. So let me take you back a bit to 2012. This is kind of the key milestones of what I've been working on for the last while. So in 2012, 15, 17, and 18, there were several different major projects. And I'm going to transition now, make sure this works. So in 2012, the City of Kingston, council at the time, allowed grade 9s to ride for free, okay? So I worked at the city and the school board at the time, and I noticed that the two systems were slightly different. When students wanted to get their bus pass, they had to go to one of two locations. They had to bring their ID and their itinerary, which made sense. The issue is that students don't get their ID until November, and they often lose their itineraries. So this was the start of the Kingston Transit and the Limestone District School Board Transit Pass program. Basically, I take every grade 9 in our community on a moving bus and teach them how to use transit. At the same time, transit staff are on our sites at the school, processing students and making it easier for them to get passes. I just finished doing 6 of our high schools. I've done this presentation, this moving on the bus presentation, hundreds of times. I know what they're going to ask about. Some people might say, well, what are you teaching them? It's a bus. Well, I always figure you don't know what you don't know, and if no one teaches you, you won't know. So I quite literally start with everything. How to stop the bus. You know, one student once asked earnestly, do I just stop it? And it goes, I said, no, not quite. But then we talk about maps. We talk about apps. We talk about safety. We let them meet the driver, okay? We go on routes together. And most importantly, as they all get it together, they get to get it together. They have it together. There's a social piece of this where they teach each other, they train each other, they use it with each other. And this is all, again, done for free in the city. As I continue on, there's many stories I tell them, and I found that this is, it's the stories that really hooks them. You know, can you eat on the bus? You know? Oh, right, I ask, you know. One time, though, they say things like coffee, tea, snacks, little bag of carrots, maybe a bag of chips, not from Costco. But I say, there's one time, I saw a guy get on the bus with a bowl of Lucky Charms. Like, I use the bus a lot, a bowl of Lucky Charms. I mean, a porcelain bowl of Lucky Charms. I know this because he was sitting right beside me. I was thinking a couple things. Why didn't he get up earlier? And why doesn't he know how to eat cereal? He sounded like my brothers sitting beside me slurping. However, I was on public transportation, okay? The one thing walking off that bus that day, the transit operator said, you think that's bad? I saw a guy get on with a plate of spaghetti. So we start through these stories. We teach them about the health, the social, the environmental benefits of riding the bus. And most importantly, at the age of 14, you're giving them freedom, okay? So another story I always start off with, this is a little animated video my friend helped me with me, was just how to put your bike on the bus. In Kingston, we have racks. Trust me, the first time I did this, I was sweating. 40 people were looking at me. The transit operator was unable to get off and assist. And I didn't even start it right, because I forgot to tell you that I had a flat tire. I had to. I had my bus pass. So of course, I got ready and I did it. But you know what? It's a lot, without a safe and no stress opportunity to learn, I think it's not easy. And for these 14-year-olds who probably will be integrating their bike into the bus system, they have to see it in slow motion, okay? So this is the next piece so I told you that in 2012, grade 9s got it for free. However, throughout our system, right now in 2015, they kept on adding them on. So right now in the city of Kingston, grade 9, 10, 11, and 12 ride for free, okay? So what this has done though, and this is really interesting, was again, with the first year we kept track, we have smart cards, Kingston Transit has smart cards. There was about 28,000 grade 9 rides, okay? Well, when we added it on, as they progressively have more responsibility, they get used to the system. It's not stigmatized, they all have it, it's freedom. There were 600,000 high school rides last year, okay? Actually over the past couple years, which represents about 10% of our ridership. And some adults that don't maybe use the bus as much as myself, I hear, oh, that's cute, they're using the bus. 600,000 trips? About 50% of those trips, about 300,000 trips are not before and after school times. This is not replacing the yellow bus. This is about changing a culture, okay? So as I continue on about this, there's been so much robust information that a student from the University of Waterloo was able to complete her master's thesis on this topic. Okay, so I can tell you that grade 12 students use a bus pass about 3 times more on average than grade 9s. I can tell you that it's proven that it helped facilitate independent travel. And I can also say that it was recommended that this program, or pieces of this program, could be applied to stimulate travel and transit in other North American mid-sized communities. And after this, if you'd like, either through Jeff or myself, I brought some cards. I can actually send you the digital copy if you're interested in reading that master's thesis. So taking us now to January 17th, January 2007. And again, I don't work for transit. I work very closely with transit, so I can speak to some of this. This is sometimes when you're in a system, you don't know what's happening, okay? So we didn't know that there were gonna be 600,000 rides, right? We didn't know that. We didn't know those numbers would happen. But what happened was it led to a fare change with Kingston Transit. And this is our current fare structure. So as you can see there, 0 to 14 ride for free. High school students ride for free. And then there's youth, adult, and senior. Now I hate the word free, right? That means non-strategic. People get on you. I've heard, well, that's not fair. It's free. It's my tax dollars. Okay, wait. Maybe it's a strategy. Maybe it's a growth strategy. Maybe it's about normalizing transit, okay? So high schools, you see there 15 to 21, they ride for free. What that did though, after the fact, the school boards do chip in some money, right? So it's subsidized. They're pushing ridership, growing ridership, and it's leading to an increase of youth purchases that left not too much money with the child, right? So with the kids, like when was the last time your 7-year-old went on the bus by themselves and put the change in, right? My daughter, when I go on, this was actually a strategy to entice young families to use the bus. I have my pass, you know, or I know how much to bring, and now my daughter who's 10 can jump on for free, right? So it's normalizing again at a young age. So as we look here, 0 to 14 ride for free in the city of Kingston. High school students ride for free. And again, I hate the word free because it was never about free. The whole thing was about a strategy to entice people to get on the bus and normalize it at an age that it could be impactful for them. When was the last thing, when I walked in here, I was nervous. You know, it felt, I know I'm growing, you know, hopefully not this way. But what I really think, when I look at this, what was really important to me is it did something else a year ago. It created a youth pass that's 15 to 24. So therefore, we can see, if we start seeing that increase in purchases in that youth, in which we are, it's just that data is too new. It's only been a year and a bit, okay? So this is leading us on to another kind of opportunity that came from that fare change. And again, none of this we knew was gonna happen. Jeremy DaCosta, who's the transit director, and myself were sitting there, and he had said, okay, what else can we do? How do we get more people on the bus? How do we normalize it with more people who are not using the bus? And working for the school board, I said, field trips. And this might sound crazy, but 0 to 14 already ride for free, right? Elementary schools already ride for free. So the teachers don't necessarily know how or ride the bus often, nor do the ECEs or parents or EAs. But this helped create a field trip pass program. Because it's a mechanism. It's a lanyard with a pass on it that are in the offices. So transit has, amazingly, they have support in which if a teacher wants to go on a trip, they can call. They can go alone. It's on an existing bus route. They can take their class. But a lot of times it's encouraged. They let us know for capacity. But it's also about letting us know because you want that teacher who might not use transit often to have a great first experience. You want them to use it again with their classes. And this has created, as you can see here, a field trip pass program where students in September, all these are distributed in schools. We have them numbered. It's all smart data. Last year there were 600 class trips on existing transit routes. And this is our first year. So you get the early adopters, you get people that know how, okay? They're going down to Queen's campus in Kingston, Ontario in this picture here. This is a kindergarten class. I did this on purpose because I thought this was a news article. If they can do it, then a grade 4 teacher could, I don't know. Grade 4 is a little early, isn't it? You know, no, kindies did it. Okay. So we started it here, and we did this. You can see them going down. That's 600 trips. If you look at a yellow bus to rent during the day, it's about $60 to $130 to purchase. I would say, so about $250 is a yellow bus class trip. That's what I estimate. It's not perfect, but it's to get a yellow bus there. That's about $150,000 worth of value created for our system with 600 class trips. Because if you think of it, the teacher has to collect it, they have to get all the change, they have to roll it, they have to pay the bus, they have to book it, they have to pay for the invoice. This is one tap gets everyone on. We can keep track of the data, we can help it, and plus they all get hopefully a great experience on public transit at a young age. I'm excited to see these numbers this year because that last year, the 600 trips, was just our first year. As you can see, another thing with our system and the change of culture is just having people interact. Like, these are all separate teachers. I'm usually tagged in things now because I'm the face of a lot of it in Kingston for the school side. Tagged in a lot of this. They're going to the library. Moving kids is expensive, right? And we have a resource that's moving around. So it's nice to see in Kingston buses that are empty halfway during the day, right? That non-peak time, it helps fill them up. And again, it's not totally free. I mean, the 0 to 14 are, but my budget helps pay for the teachers. So I'm not asking for more for free. That pass, we count how many people use it, and I pay the fare for that. And it's more than worth it, sorry. So lastly, and as we continue on, a couple more things actually, one is just I think the extent of the relationship and the partnership we have in our community. Jeremy and I were sitting around the table again planning for the fall, and he'd said he had some money to wrap a bus, okay? And they're expensive, but they're nice. And he wanted to do a contest. But I was thinking that, there's a better way for this, and I know the school system really well. There's actually a focus program, and this means that students come from different high schools, and they attend it to focus on a certain topic, okay? So there was a creative arts focus program, okay? Some students go and build houses for a whole semester. Some do baking. There's an arts one. And a lot of these students are applying to go to the Ontario College of Art and Design. And they need portfolio pieces, okay? So this was an opportunity where these students, and I'm going to show you the picture next, but I just want to tell you how much pride was involved in this project with them and then making this bus wrap. And technically, it's a big project for their portfolio. But I don't know if you've ever seen one of those shows where like they've made over a house, or you know what I mean? And they park the trailer, or they park the RV in front, and then they unveil it, and the pride of that family to see their house for that time. When I was with those students and we went around the corner and they saw their bus, the pride, it was just incredible. And this is another way of participating. These were the students that decorated this. This is the mayor up in the right, the top right corner unveiling it. And this bus is one of the most vivid buses, I would say, that goes around our community. And it's also a testament to the partnership we have. But it was the students that made it, so they're proud of it. They tell their friends. It's just another thing that's reoccurring. It's not that complicated, but I do think that it kind of extends to what we're doing as a partnership. And this year, I'm excited actually because it's the focus program again, but they're going to have the opportunity to do bus shelters. So I'm hoping they turn some cool things like dragons and stuff. I don't know yet what they're going to choose. But yeah, I'm really interested in seeing this process go through. Now, as I kind of finish up here soon and you guys get to your networking break, I was lucky enough to come down. Actually, this program won Federation of Canadian Municipality Sustainable Communities Award in February. And I get to come down and present in front of about 400 to 500 municipal leaders like yourselves at that conference. And After that, I think we had about 20 municipalities contact us, as well as school boards. And so from that, I'd like to say that something to keep an eye on, hopefully something to help you if you're interested in any of this, the process, the forms I use, the timeline, the communication, and even a document to have with a good stamp of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities to take to meetings to talk about maybe integrating some of this training with schools. We're building a document called Engaging Students to Increase Public Transit Ridership. Now, I know that all of our, and this will be out, in the new year, as well as webinars, and it's published through the FCM. And I know that all our communities are different. You know, a lot of people have approached me and said, well, mine's too big, mine's too small. You know, and that makes sense. We're all different. I get it. But I do think the essence of this program can be adapted to communities. I think the idea, right? And I think that, you know, and I challenge you. I challenge you to use this information and use me. If you want to email me, I will give you as much as I can. Because when I look at the headlines and I see the world with 7.6 billion people and greenhouse gas emissions, this is a very tangible way of reducing that. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. So please use me, as this has been one of the most impactful things I've done in my whole career. Yeah, I'm happy to open up for any questions. Thank you.